When planning for my preliminary task, we just created a storyboard on a piece of paper written and drawn as stick people. We didn't include any sound or any editing or anything like that we were going to add. It was just simply the filming. It didn't really show how what type of shots we were going to use and what effect they were going to have on the people. However, when it came to creating our full product, we made a full storyboard using titles, the sound that was going to be used, the all the different things that were going to be added, and we put them all on different coloured sticky notes so that we could move them around if anything changed. And I thought that was really helpful because if there were any problems or anything needed to be moved around, it could easily be moved. However, with the storyboard we drew for the preliminary task, we learned from that we had to rub out anything that was wrong and change it all about, and it got too complicated, and it wasn't even detailed enough to sort of show us exactly what we needed to do anyway. We didn't use it too much with the preliminary task, and it didn't lead us to be very organised with the preliminary task, whereas I felt that when we were doing the full product, because we'd learned we needed to be more organised, this method made it a lot more organised. We knew exactly what was going to be happening in each shot, and it worked really well. Here you can see the lack of variety of shots that we've used in our preliminary task. It was mainly shot reverse shot, and a lot of them were very shaky. However, when it came to producing our real product, we had learnt from this that it looked a bit repetitive with shot reverse shot. We needed it to be a bit more interesting. Therefore, we used some other shots, such as a high angle shot, which I really liked. As you can see from there, that shot from the final piece, all the different shots, flowed a lot nicer, as we realised from the preliminary that they didn't flow very well. They were quite jumpy, and in the real thing we learnt to use some transitions which worked really well to make it run more smoothly. We also used variation in length of shots, so you could see while she was making a cup of tea it was quite long, and that was the really high angle shot that I liked. So it was a different type of shot. And then you went to the short sort of pan to when the little girl shut the door, so that was a different type and length as well. There was a mid shot of the mum speaking upstairs, so there were different lengths and different types of shots, which I thought worked really well and were much better than in the preliminary, where we used the same type and most of the time it was the same length, and they were very jumpy from shot reverse shot. Each time it jumped from each cut quite a lot, so I think we improved that a lot in the final piece. Another aspect of our filming that we knew we had to improve on a lot when it came to the final piece was the shaky shots. In our preliminary task, we didn't realise that on the camera, shaky shots, you can't really see them that well on the small screen, and it's when you get them to the big screen that you really notice them and you really see how shaky they can be and how bad it can really look on the thing. So we were able to then plan for our final recording sessions that we were going to have lots of sessions so that we could redo shots until they were perfect and have lots of opportunity for them to not be shaky and to watch them before actually putting it all together and then finding out that it doesn't look very good. We only had 3 titles in our preliminary task, which was very different to the many that we had in our final task. This was because we realised that you could use names that weren't real. They didn't have to be the real names that produced your film. We also learnt a lot about how to create a title for your film and what the font, style, and colours should look like to match the genre. As you can see, for our preliminary task, we just used any old font that we found. We didn't really think about it. We used red, which would normally be a symbol for fear and blood, and that wasn't what the story was about at all. Whereas for the real thing, we really thought about it, thought about what kind of font we wanted, and we ended up picking one that was similar to that was used in The Conjuring. It had sort of a creepy feel to it, and looked like it suited the horror genre much better. We also used the colour white rather than red because there wasn't a lot of blood and gore in our film, so we didn't want to indicate that. But we also didn't use anything like yellow because we didn't want to indicate that it was a happy film.